please hit subscribe.
In this video, we will learn how to solve a quadratic equation. To solve an equation is to find the value of an unknown quantity, often represented as x. A quadratic equation is one where the largest exponent of the unknown is 2. We have to remember the following to solve quadratic equations. The product of two numbers is 0 if and only if at least one of these numbers is 0. For example, if a is 0, then 0 times b is 0. If b is 0, then a times 0 is still 0. If both of them are 0, then 0 times 0 is 0. However, if none of these two is 0, then we can never get 0 here. And so we say that at least one of the factors a or b must be 0. And we write it this way: a equals 0 or b equals 0, or both could be 0. Let us now try to solve some quadratic equations. Here we will solve for x. If we are given this equation, x minus 1 times x minus 2 equals 0, we know that either this factor or this factor must be 0. So our solution would be x minus 1 equals 0 or x minus 2 equals 0. And if we solve this linear equation, we get x equals 1. We just added 1 to both sides. So the 1 here, the negative 1 here, is cancelled by adding that 1. And so we are left with x on this side and 1 on this side. We do the same for this equation. We have x minus 2. If we add 2 here, minus 2 plus 2 becomes 0, so we are left with x. On this side, we also add 2, and so x equals 2. Therefore, x is either 1 or 2 from here. Let's try another one. For the equation x times x minus 3 equals 0, we have this factor equals 0, or this factor must be 0. This is easy because it's already a solution. Here, we just have to add 3 to both sides so that this negative 3 will be gone. And so on this side we are left with x, on the other side we are left with 3. Therefore, x is either 0 or 3. Problem 3 is x minus pi times x minus pi squared equals 0. Again, the solution of this is such that either one of the factors or both must be 0. So we set x minus pi equals 0 is a solution, and x minus pi squared equals 0 is also a solution. If we add pi to both sides of this solution, we get x equals pi. On this solution, we add pi squared to both sides of the equation, and we get x equals pi squared. Therefore, x is either pi or pi squared. For the fourth problem, we have x minus this complicated expression times x minus this other complicated expression equals 0. Again, the solution to this is obtained by equating each of the factors to 0. So this equals 0, or this equals 0. Now, for this solution, we add this expression to both sides so that it will be gone from this side. And if we do that, we obtain x equals this. We do the same for this solution. We add this complicated expression to both sides of this expression, of this equation. And so, on this side, we are left with x. On this side, we will be left with this complicated expression. And therefore, x is either this or this. Now it is your turn. Solve these quadratic equations for x. You may now pause the video and come back when you are ready to check your answers. Welcome back. Here are the answers. Let us do a few more examples. Here we will solve for y. For the first example, we have 2y minus a times y minus b equals 0. Again, the solution for this is such that this equals 0 or this equals 0. Therefore, for this part of the solution, we add a to both sides so that we will be left with 2y on this side and a on this side. Then we divide both sides by 2, and so we get a solution of y equals a over 2. For this solution, we add b to both sides, and we obtain y equals b. Therefore, y is either a over 2 or b. For this problem, we have y minus x times y equals 0. So again, we set each of the factors to 0, because that's the only way to obtain a zero product. So we have y minus x equals 0 and y equals 0. Y equals 0 is already a solution. Y minus x equals 0 can be solved for y by adding x to both sides. If we add x here, minus x is gone and we are left with y. On this side, if we add x, we are left with x. So we have y equals x. Therefore, y is either x or 0. Now we have to solve for z. Z plus x minus y times z plus x squared minus y squared equals 0. Again, we just set this first factor to 0 and the second factor to 0. These will be our solutions. For this solution, we have to manipulate the equation so that only z is left on this side. So we add y to cancel this y, and we subtract x to cancel this x. And we will be left with z on this side, and therefore z equals negative x plus y. We do the same for this solution. Again, we add y squared to both sides so that this y squared here will be gone. And then we subtract x squared from both sides so that this x squared will be gone. Finally, we will be left with z on this side of the equation. And on this side of the equation, we have z equals minus x squared plus y squared. Therefore, z is either negative x plus y or minus x squared plus y squared. For our final example, we have x minus z times x plus z equals 0. Again, we just set each factor to 0. X minus z equals 0, and if we add z to both sides, we get x equals z, and we flip that, we get z equals x. And for this factor, we have x plus z equals 0. We subtract x from both sides, and this x will be gone, and we are left with z equals minus x. Therefore, z is either x or minus x. Now it's your turn. Solve the following quadratic equations for a. You may now pause the video and come back when you are ready to check your answers. Welcome back. Here are the answers. If you learned something new today, please help my channel by clicking the subscribe button and the bell for the notifications. See ya!